Welcome to the Blabbermalt Show with your hosts, Dave and Mathias, two guys that blabber incessantly about beer, brewing, and bullcrap. Stick around while they brew up another tasty episode. All right, we're back.
All right.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Blabbermalt Show. I'm Dave. This is Mathias. And as you can see, we have two guests here with us from Southern Tier.
Southern Tier. We have Haley.
Hello.
And we have Jason.
Hey.
Who we go also by 10, and we'll talk about that as we go along. So we're excited to have them back. Now in our studio, we were remote last week.
Yeah, let's hit the mash in there, Sean.
It's time to mash in.
Yeah, these guys were kind enough to host us down at their tap room, and we had a great time. Had a flight of beer, had some pints, had some food.
Wonderful time.
Yeah, it was a great time.
So we have some beers today. We're going to do this early this time. We're going to introduce everybody.
All right.
Right? Going to crack into some beers.
Sure.
And we can start talking about that, right?
Yeah. So what I brought is decided to go with, since you guys already tried most of what I had on tap, I brought the one that you seem to like the most, just in case you want to have it again. We have it now, or you can save it. It's up to you guys. I brought one that I just tapped today. Sorry, the one you've already had, that's the RBG. That's that Pink Boots beer. And the one in the middle there is the Redwood Redemption, which we're actually considering renaming. I'll explain that why later. But that is the one that was in the fooder that I showed you guys. So that just went on tap today. And then just because I wanted to pick another Southern Tier beer that I didn't brew that is like as different as possible, I brought the Vanilla Scoop, which is like a very sweet vanilla beer we made in collaboration with Perry's Ice Cream. We use the same vanilla flavor they use in that.
That's wonderful. So while you can crack this for us, while we get rolling, we still have to talk about a few things. Dave, we have seen some pretty big uptick in our socials, right?
Yeah, people are listening.
So how do they get a hold of us there?
They're liking, following, subscribing, hitting the notification bell.
Bam, 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 right?
Yeah, we're mainly on Facebook and a little bit on YouTube, but we're The Blabbermalt Show on both of those formats. And, Twitter and Instagram at Blabbermalt. So, and Gmail, blabbermalt@gmail if you have any questions or want us to cover something that we haven't mentioned yet.
Yeah, Dave. What's so? We saw you this week at ABC. Took in our patio on a gorgeous Saturday morning, afternoon. What were you doing at ABC?
Well, my brother and sister-in-law were in town. They kind of came in and surprised our nephew, Brandon, who lives and works right here with my other brother. Thank you.
One more.
So we had a little birthday party. Came up to ABC, sat on the patio, had some food, some good beer.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
It was a great time. It was really fun to see you and your two brothers interact together. It was quite the spectacle.
A lot of jackassery.
A lot of tomfoolery for sure.
Yes.
You left your balloons on the patio.
Oh, we did.
So we had a fun time sharing those with everybody along the way too.
That's
so
cool.
It's just a good time to get out and about. I know you also were you left Avon Brewing Company and you traveled up the street too.
Yeah, we went to Railroad Brewing Company and had a couple pints up there and watched the Kentucky Derby and played some squares and lost, but
Was it nice enough to be outside, or were you in the back room?
Yeah, we were in the three-season room back there that we saw when we were there. Yeah, it was great.
Beautiful space.
Yeah.
Really neat. So before we get into the beer share, let's get into the Vorloff. It's time for the Vorloff. All right. So Jason, what do we have in front of us again?
This was brewed, fermented, and aged in our fooder. It's a red ale. And the first time around, it never actually ended up getting sour. And that's mostly because I tried to ferment it originally with wine yeast, and I think I picked a killer yeast, which kind of killed everything else off. This time around, took a different approach, and it's quite a sour beer now. So people who liked it before would be expecting something different. So we're going to name it Redwood Resurrection instead of Redwood Redemption this time. But yeah, so this is made with some Maris Otter, Pilsner, little Vienna, little dark Munich, some dark caramel malts, and then a blend of Saccharomyces, Brettanomyces, lactobacillus and pediococcus. As I said, fermented and aged in our foeder, which has had similar styles in there before, so it's already sort of got that character going, like an old cast iron skillet gets that flavor built up into it.
Yeah, that's good.
You're speaking our language. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. How long was it in the foeder?
It was in the foeder for just under a year, about 11 months.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's good. That's complex.
That is really good.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So obviously it came out stellar this time. So the name's going to be Red Dead.
Yeah, so obviously it was inspired by the video game name, Red Dead Redemption. So we called it Redwood Redemption.
Redwood Redemption.
Which the play
Wonderful.
on that was actually the very first one. So this is actually the third one to come out of the foeder, but the second one to serve. So the first one, I think we just called it like the Red or whatever. Didn't get a clever name, but we had our like old HVAC system that was older than our company that was in like the previous restaurants. Just went out on us right in the middle of the summer, and so it got like way too hot, and basically the phenolics went crazy, and it went way past its prime. So the next one was the Red, made in the wood. It was a redemption attempt, so that's where the name comes for that. And then, as I said, did some sort of rebirth of the same beer, so Redwood Resurrection.
Love it.
That's
I
great.
love the name.
So, did you play the game? Did you play Red Dead Redemption?
I hate to admit, no, not yet. I want to.
All right. Okay.
I love those kinds of games. I love like those very in-depth RPGs.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm a
Dave
gamer
is a
too.
gamer.
We'll talk
Yeah.
off the air. That's
Very cool.
interesting.
So let's talk about that for a second before we move on, and some questions for the two of you. If you have not been to Southern Tier downtown, you need to. It was a beautiful space. We had a great time. The food was great. The beer were great. We had a really nice tour. So if you go back to our video from when we were there, we got a great tour. So thank you both for that. Yeah. Got a chance to see the brew house, talk about their 7-barrel system, what that looks like, where their cellar is, all the barrels in the basement. It's what a beautiful space that is there for people to, you able to rent that out?
Yep, we do events all the time. A lot of corporate events, a lot of rehearsal dinners, happy hours, things like that. So we're always doing something down there. We have that space upstairs that we were in briefly as well.
Correct.
So you can rent out the entire downstairs. We even do buyouts if you're interested. The whole gamut.
And when we were there, there was somebody having
Yeah,
a
we
party
had-
downstairs.
Yeah, we had a happy hour going on downstairs while you guys were there, so we moved us upstairs.
Yeah.
That's great.
What's the best way to contact you guys about renting that out?
You can email myself, and you can also, which I can give you my email, but you can also go onto our website and click on our page, the Cleveland page, and from there it'll direct you to submit
Cool.
a request for an event.
Yeah, I'd love to have an event there. Let's have an
Join
event.
us.
Let's have an event.
Yeah.
Let's have an event.
Let's do that. So
Yeah.
A
why don't you
Blabbermalt
go ahead?
meetup.
Blabbermalt meetup.
What?
Perfect.
So why don't you go ahead and give us that information? What's your email address?
Yeah, my email is hbetts, B-E-T-T-S, stbcbeer.com. So email me. We can get you hooked up. We have really flexible minimums. We don't do deposits. We make it insanely simple for you.
And it was gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a beautiful space.
Wonderful. And you get to see all of the barrels downstairs.
Yeah.
And the wonderful wood beings that held
I know.
this beer. So we're thankful for that. So that's really nice. Thanks for the tour, Jason. You did a nice job of covering all of those things with us, and we had a really nice time.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk about some questions for you guys today to let our audience know more about who you guys are in general, Jason, how did you get into brewing? What did that look like for you? Were you a home brewer to start with?
Yeah, I was a home brewer to start with. Probably for less time than most people who actually end up going pro. So yeah, I just picked it up as a hobby. Actually, well, say the other part because I think you're gonna ask me a question about that later. But yeah, I got really interested in beer. It was just, I get really obsessed with things, and that was just the obsession of the moment. And obviously it grew into something a lot bigger. But yeah, I just got one of those, called like Brewer's Best, I think. One of those plastic buckets,
Yep.
Oh yeah, we've all done it.
Yeah. But like it comes with the kit with all the little stuff in there and everything you need, but also it's, not the best quality. And was really excited about the first beer I made, which is an IPA. But in hindsight, now that I have, been trained up a bit on off flavors. It was absolutely every off flavor was present in there.
But you choke it down because
Oh,
you made it,
Just
and
so
it was
proud of
great.
It's your little baby. So I did a few of those, and then found out. So I was living in Knoxville, Tennessee at the time, and there was a brewery formerly known as Marble City, but then had to change their name to Sawworks Brewing Company because they're working out of an old sawmill, and they were looking for volunteers to help out. It was a very small company. It was just the brewer, the head brewer, and like the owner and like a single sales rep, and that was pretty much it. And so I answered that ad. A couple other guys did too, and it was really quick. I just showed up, met the guy, talked to him, and he said, "All right, well, if you want to come in 6 a.m. tomorrow, I'll show you how to make beer." Obviously on a production level instead of a homebrew level. Did that. Volunteered there for a year and a half, 2 years, I think, until they were able to actually offer me a job and I could quit being a server. And worked there for a couple more years until basically the beer we were making was very good. The management, not so much. And they ended up making some bad decisions and decided to lay off the entire brewing staff, saying they'd bring us back. We didn't really think that was going to happen, so we all just found new jobs. And
What year was that?
that was like the spring of 2014, summer 2014, something like that. So I looked in the pro brewer ads, found Southern Tier was hiring. I already liked their beer. It's crazy to think about how different the beers were they made back then, though. Like, not that they were that different, but like the brands are gone and all that.
Yep.
But anyway,
That's
after
great.
the ad, they brought me up for an interview. Pretty much got hired on the spot. The staff got me incredibly drunk, and then I drove several hundred miles in one of the worst hangovers of my life back home.
Dave, we're going to apply for a job at Southern Tier.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
I mean, that sounds like a great weekend. At least we're going to go interview.
Yes.
Will you drive us, Denise? Perfect.
When we were there, we heard they call you 10 instead of Jason.
That's right.
Now, what's that all about?
I'm just from Tennessee.
You're from
We
Tennessee.
only have one Jason.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
There were multiple Jasons already there. I think there were like 5 Jasons working there when I got hired.
so you go by 10.
So the name was already taken. Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure. They're putting an entire state
I know.
on
On
you.
your backs.
Just because
Yeah.
you were there. That's,
Sure, it's because of my very thick Southern accent.
Yes.
Obviously. Yeah.
I thought that was
picked
your
that up.
actual
Yeah,
name when I first
picked up on that.
Yeah. No, I really think I'm getting like an Ohio accent at this point. It's only
do
been a
sound-
few years, and the vowels are shifting, you know?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, Haley, I know that you're not on the brewing side, but let's talk about what you do at Southern Tier and really how did you get into the world of beer?
I am the sales and marketing manager there. I kind of fell into it on accident. My previous general manager, I was with Famous Dave's many, many years ago, and he was the general manager there. So he recruited me to come on board, and I have fell in love with it ever since. I have learned so much. I was not huge into beer. I was always more of a wine and cider drinker, still kind of am, but have learned a lot in the past 4 years. So it's been a really cool experience to kind of dip your toe in, in the water a little bit.
So the wafting of the barbecue here is
So reminiscent. It is taking me straight back. All I can think about is ribs right now.
I mean, we're not eating barbecue, but we're in the building that
Immersed in the
produces
smell.
all of the food.
Yeah.
The commissary kitchen for
Smoking rock.
smoking rock and roll.
Yeah,
so,
it smells awesome.
oh,
Yes, it does.
and their
It's
food is
taking me right back.
fantastic too. So a little plug for smoking rock and roll. Check them out.
So, Haley, you said you started at the Cleveland location like right when COVID hit.
Yeah, I started
And
in 2019.
That had to be
And then got
difficult.
furloughed pretty quickly. It was a weird time to see so many things just drop off and not internalize that immediately
Yeah.
and not wonder how you can stop it, but there was no stopping that. It was interesting to watch it all pivot. It was interesting to watch it come back, especially being on the event ends and having all of the restrictions in place and things.
Yeah.
And we pivoted to a virtual platform for a minute there. I made you do a couple
Yes.
different virtual tastings with me.
That's right.
But we made it work. We met a lot of cool people along the way and did what we needed to do to stay afloat.
So, are you guys partnered with what is it, Rival Brews, where you mail the beers out? Is that how you did the virtual?
No, we did virtual tastings with different like networking groups that were trying to
Oh,
still
okay.
stay relevant, have things going on for their members. We did it in a way where they would come into the tap room, pick up their packaged product, and then they would have
Oh, okay.
tasting with us a few days
Yeah, that's a good
later.
idea.
It was fun. It made December go by a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long year and a half for everybody in the
such
business.
a long year and a half.
But I think it really solidified who you were as an operation.
Yeah.
It was neat to get out and find other ways to interact with people who want to spend time with you and your product.
Yeah, it was interesting, and we met a lot of people along the way, and some of them now have come back and are doing in-person events with us or checking out the tap room, and it's nice to see some familiar faces because of all of that.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Interesting.
When looking at, everybody has a gateway process into craft beer, right? I don't think we all started having our first beverages at the ripe old age of 21, hopefully, right? Or younger. Really diving into the craft beer world, most likely, right? So, Haley, we'll start with you. What was your gateway beer into craft?
Mine feels so basic. I really loved Bumbleberry by Fatheads. That was probably, I'm like, okay, this is not, I came off the age of like Natty Light in college, and I'm like, well, beer's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's gross. I'm not doing that anymore. And then started discovering that I really liked more of the fruited beers and really loved ciders and things like that. So it was nice when we acquired Bold Rock, and I'm able to do a lot of the cider side of it. So that was really probably what got me more interested in it, was that it wasn't just a one-size-fits-all. Not everything has to be an IPA. Not everything has to be super hoppy, because that's just not my jam, unfortunately.
And it doesn't have to be. That's the great part about
Yeah.
craft beer. And you would be probably not surprised. For many years at Avon Brewing Company, we carried some of our favorite local people for those who wanted brands that we don't always carry. But now that we have 24 beers on tap plus our own cans, we kind of pulled that down.
Yeah.
But I would say that probably our number one non-ABC canned beer we ever sold, Bumbleberry.
Yeah, it was.
It's just a great,
beer.
it's just a good beer.
Yeah.
So, and Fatheads is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Who doesn't
Yeah.
love it, right?
Absolutely.
10, what about you? What was your
How to
gateway
get into
into craft? Or what was the first beer you had, and kind of what was the first craft beer that got you rolling in that
Yeah,
direction?
that's a good way to put it. So it's kind of surprising that I ended up being a brewer because my first experience with beer was not good. As you said, Natty Light. The very first one I ever had was very warm, very flat
I think all natty has
Keg.
to be warm and flat by definition.
of Natty Light, yeah. And I was like, I do not understand why people like beer. And it wasn't until actually on my 21st birthday, so when I was first able to purchase beer, I went and just put together one of those mix a six-pack things, and picked a few different ones. And honestly, it was so. Actually, before that, the most interesting thing I had was like Yingling, and that I thought was like a whole new world. But yeah, then on my 21st birthday, I got a mixed six-pack. Got what was it? Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, and which seems like a pretty basic craft beer at this point. But it just blew my mind. I'm like, what is this flavor in here? Started Googling it. I was like, oh, it's called hops. And
What is this flavor?
Yes. And it was like 2 weeks later that I bought the Brewer's Best kit and started homebrewing after that.
Look at you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
that
a
was
pretty
quick.
big
I
jump.
get obsessed fast.
Yeah.
I think that's really neat. I mean, look at Sierra Nevada. They've done so many wonderful things for the industry as they've worked their way through different styles of beer. Even now, if you go to I would say maybe a chain restaurant, if you're looking for anything that might be crafty, maybe even the haze category, they have that. What's their hazy? The crazy
hazy little thing.
hazy little thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's a good beer.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
it's haze stable. It tastes great. They do a nice job with that. So kudos to them. And how old are you? 10.
I am 32.
32.
Yes.
Not too young, but what ages you is the fact that you could get Yingling in
That was in Tennessee.
okay.
I was
gonna say Ohio.
Well,
we-
not a thing here.
Not a
Recently.
thing.
It was a
Oh.
big deal.
I did not know that. Really?
No, you had to
You're gonna go
drive
across
out
the
of state to get it.
border
Oh, wow.
to get
No,
it.
yeah.
Look at you. Lucky
We had-
man. Lucky man.
The weird thing for us was you pretty much to get any good beer, you had to go to a liquor store in Tennessee. If it was the rule was 6.25%. Anything above that had to be in a liquor store. So my first brewery, Sure, we can mention it now. They don't really exist anymore. But we had like so it was the main brews, and then they let the kids, which I was sort of a part of, do little experiments, and they called it the rough cuts. And we'd often like accidentally make it a little too strong, and we'd just say, yeah, it's a heavy 6.2. Be careful.
Yeah.
That's, I like to brew beer with a little bit higher ABV for flavor purposes. I think it sits well when you're doing an IPA or even a hazy for that matter.
Sure.
But Southern Tier is also known for beers that are pushing the scale of ABV.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, the Cleveland location in particular, everything
Correct.
is barrel aged and
Barrel aged and high ABV.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're working on some whiskey aged stuff right now. Got a 2-year, I think they're both bourbon. Maybe one's considered American whiskey, but one is 2 years and one is 7 years. And, 2 are 2 years and 2 are 7 years. And I think I told you guys before, we got the oatmeal stout you tried is in there. A stout from the main brewery called Irish Cream Stout is in there. And then beer they have called Sugar Cookie, which tastes exactly like what it sounds like.
Sugar cookie.
Is also, so I'll have that pretty soon. Those will be pretty high ABV. But of course, they also release those huge ones like Sap Squatch, Old Fashioned, Rum King, it's Rum Barrel Aged Pumpkin. We can't
Yes,
call it Rum
can't
King,
call it that
legally
anymore.
speaking, because it implies that we add rum to it. But yeah, those come out like 14, 16%, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
And we talked about that on our podcast that, your pumpkin is one of the first things you think about when you look at a pumpkin style of beer. And Dave wanted to know those questions for himself. I think he might want to ask him, talking about the connection between, Cleveland and then...
Yeah, you guys being a satellite of Southern Tier, how much freedom does that give you in your creativity and the beers you design? You have to bounce those off of the folks up there?
pretty much total freedom for the most part. I do obviously keep in contact with I've got a supervisor basically that I talk to in New York. But it's basically just I tell them what I'm interested in brewing, and maybe at most just have to give them a pitch as to why I think it's good or think it'll sell. But I really can't think of anything that they tried to talk me out of or said was a total no-go or anything. And sometimes, actually, if they really like what we're doing, they might take the recipe and then scale it up. Or sometimes we'll just share recipes with the other tap rooms, like our tap room in Pittsburgh, the one we do for Buffalo. If we've brewed something the other ones hasn't brewed before, we'll share recipes, or they really like it, they'll share and iterate upon it and so on.
Oh, that's kind of cool. So
yeah.
you have several head brewers that work together fairly
Essentially,
well,
yeah.
it seems like.
So
I was gonna say-
my shirt is
Auxiliary
actually an
shirt.
example of one of
Good,
those. I forgot I was wearing this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we both brewed the same recipe of ESB.
Oh,
for
okay.
Some sort of sports game. I don't know sports.
Sports ball.
Sports ball,
I'm sure these colors will tell people if they know.
Yeah.
Browns, and the Squealers.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I mean,
Yeah,
Steelers.
that sounds right, I think. But yeah, and then we could we actually, so there was, I believe it was for Pittsburgh's Beer Week. There's some sort of beer festival. And so we went down there and each brought our own kegs of it and let people try them side by side and sort of tell us which ones they liked better. So
Tell everybody which was your favorite. Did you win? Was yours better?
Yeah. Most people liked mine more.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's because
Nice.
you
I know
brewed
it's
it. You
conceited,
brewed it.
but that was
You brewed it in Cleveland with
Yeah.
Cleveland water. That's
Yeah,
the end of the
that's
story.
it really is that water though. I think made a huge difference.
Comes out of the Three Rivers. Blah.
Blah. Not good.
So then the other thing with you guys are part of a conglomerate.
Yeah, artisanal brewing ventures.
Yeah.
ABV.
So tap space in the Cleveland location, they obviously want to take some of your taps for those beers. Is there ever a turf war? We need another tap. We got to kick off this victory brew. Or
I don't think so,
No,
really.
They give you about 4 to 6 taps that you can.
I know our bar manager has to struggle sometimes to figure out
Yeah,
how
we
to
move things around.
how to fit them in, but no one's ever kicked my beers off or anything. Usually, when one of those
Yeah.
runs out, they fill it with the ones that I have.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah,
more like that.
okay.
What have you seen? Have you seen a overarching sales difference in beers that were brewed in Cleveland versus ones that have been brought in, or or other taps? Have you noticed that at all?
I mean, your Praise does really, really well. It's probably one of our top sellers. So
Yeah, I think Praise the Haze and the Legacy Lager are usually towards the top, alongside other ones like 2X IPA, one of our standards. I think the IPA also.
Yeah.
And obviously when Pumpkin's around, that's always up there.
But Praise and Legacy hold their own against those contenders for sure.
I would say, there's always a couple that are up amongst the top sellers, but I don't know if one is like consistently outselling the other or anything like that.
Yeah, and we get a lot of people that come in that are very interested to hear that we brew there, and then they'll do the flight thing and they want to try all of the beers that we're brewing there and just try stuff they can't get anywhere else.
Right.
It's like when you guys came in.
Yeah, I mean, it was my first time.
Yeah, and that's what we get. We get a lot of people that come in. They're like, I've never been here. I want to try
Give me the
something
Cleveland beers.
I can't get in the grocery store. And we have a nice selection and lineup for them to choose from. So it works out well.
That's awesome. Now, Hannah, do you have anything to do with the beer on tap or
No,
versus
that is
more?
all him.
What do you do with that one?
I mean, I've been able to name a few, which I really appreciate you allowing
Well, you were
me
also
to
part
do
of
that.
the process
And
of
in the
deciding what it
process-
was going to be.
Yeah, like he had mentioned with Pink Boots, we do that each year. It's for International Women's Day, and we bring in our female staff members, and they're able to decide what the style is going to be, what the name is going to be, and so this year is a spiced sour, and it was really spicy when I first tried it.
Oh, yeah. Funny story about that. No, it's great. So as we said before, I told you guys this would cover it again. So it's goza with like 4 different berries that are more or less red looking, and then habaneros also. And so in order to add the habaneros, I did one of those modified half barrel kegs, filled it with the beer, took 2 pounds of habaneros, roasted them in our oven in the kitchen. Basically just took the stems off and kind of broke them up, but left all the skin and the seeds and the pulp and all that, and let it all steep in that keg for, I'd say, a good week. And then blended some samples, just kind of like using like tablespoons, teaspoons and stuff, and brought it around to all the women who helped come up with the idea, and trying to figure out the appropriate level. And then I thought it would be fun just to see if anyone wanted to try the undiluted version. And
It was so hot.
I know she does not like spicy
I
food.
hate spice so much.
I was like, okay, you probably don't really want to do this. He's like, yeah, whatever. And just throws it back, and then
I think I altered my taste buds that day.
like a
I
cartoon,
still have
her
it.
face just turned red. And
Yeah,
then
it was like steam coming out. It was so spicy. It was so spicy. This is much more drinkable now. You can down a whole glass without feeling like your eyeballs are gonna.
Yeah, I didn't get
flames.
tremendous amount.
No,
just
he-
a little
he toned
bit,
it out. It's just right on the back
Yeah.
of your tongue. There's just a little bit.
which
So
I couldn't
want it
help
to be,
but notice
Oh,
that there's nothing.
sorry.
But those are the stories that we want to hear, right? I think everybody else out there wants to hear. It's not some
sure.
corporate Southern tier
No.
where you're not going to get any hands-on. You're just going to get the standards on tap. This is real. You're trying beers. You're having
Yeah.
fun. You're brewing together. You get a chance to swig back a spicy beer and burn your taste buds off. And
Yeah.
and those are things that make you
Good
real.
times.
Yeah.
These are the things that want to make people come to see you in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And these are Cleveland things happening right before us, and so that's we're thankful for that. So that's what we want to make sure everybody knows about those things. When looking at the brewery itself, because you have your the mothership, right, and they have their vision, they have all of the things that make Southern Tier, and then looking how that incorporates into Cleveland, right? So we're going to ask you a couple questions back and forth. Tim, we'll start with you on this one.
Okay.
What is your vision and philosophy of brewing at Southern Tier Cleveland?
Yeah. So basically trying to keep variety on as much as possible, which is sometimes a little bit of a struggle when I generally only have like 4 taps to work with. But try to usually have an IPA, try to have a sour, try to have like a darker beer, and then usually something that's just sort of season appropriate, I guess. Like maybe a stout when it's cold, like a wheat beer on in the summer. We're going to have something coming up pretty soon for that. And I guess generally sort of having to balance between the standards that sell really well and that people really want, and also getting to make stuff more just for myself. Because obviously if I just made stuff I wanted, people wouldn't buy it enough. because I don't know. I like either weird stuff or just beer tasting beer. People like fruity stuff. I mean, I like the fruity stuff too. But as far as any sort of philosophy of beer, I guess when I'm making recipes, I always try to make sure that every ingredient has a purpose, and so you're not just layering and repeating stuff for no reason, unless you're going for that complexity specifically. Which I bet most professional brewers probably think the same way, but a lot of home brewers, when they're not sure, will just throw everything that sounds great in there without really thinking about it. Like a stoner in college making food, you just pile everything in the fridge on there.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I got away from that, my recipe making got a lot better.
Neat. No, that's good.
Yeah.
So Haley, what about you? What is your vision for the tap room? What was your philosophy of marketing in that aspect of that?
Yeah, I really you hit on it a little bit before. I love having people come in that are new, that are like, I didn't know you brewed on site. I didn't know you had this beautiful barrel cellar. I didn't know that this entire space was even here, or that you have been here this long. So it's exciting to be able to connect with the community, especially the downtown area, a little more. And we're seeing that uptick. We're seeing those repeat clients come in. We're seeing it get busier on game days, on concert days, and people coming back because they celebrated a birthday with us, an anniversary with us, and just being able to build upon that, whether it be collaborations with other breweries or partnering with nonprofits, just finding unique ways to market us, like doing things like this, and connecting with the community is just a huge piece of the puzzle for me that I want to continue to see us grow in the future.
Yeah, that's great, and we're certainly happy to have you. I'm glad you came on.
We're happy that you guys had us too.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to talk to people about the brewing community, about brewing, and about beer in general. And we con people into bringing beer to us, and that doesn't suck.
It doesn't
deal.
suck at all.
No, it's awesome.
It's actually really good.
We're onto a good thing, Mathias.
We're on to a good thing. We're going to go out and try it and bring them in and do it all over again.
Yeah,
so
that's
every
right.
week on Tuesday, we get to have fun. It's a good life.
That's great.
When looking at your connection to the local area, right? Cleveland, make it home,
Yep.
right? How does that incorporate into how you're? I know you mentioned, and I love how what you're talking about, trying to keep something on style that people want to drink that's brewed in Cleveland, right? Seasonal things, staying away from the core that comes in. But how do you connect your beer, or have you thought about that, to the local area, to Cleveland?
Well, first of all, it's something I'd like to be doing a lot more, and we're working on doing that in the future. But in the past, I have used, I believe they're called Malt House, local maltster, made what we called our No Frills pills out of that. Had really great success. I'd like to use them again sometime soon. And I think that's it for local ingredients. Obviously, I patronize the local homebrew shop all the time when I forget something, or some little my hydrometer container breaks or something. I have to run over there in the middle of the day. And we've been meeting up with a lot of other local breweries, getting to know everyone there, and talking about doing future collaborations, which I'm really looking forward to. We had one that almost came to fruition, but there was a third party involved, and they made it so it kind of all fell apart. It wasn't the other brewery's fault. We're still planning on doing something with them sooner rather than later. So we're looking forward to do more like that.
Well, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring really quickly on that one for Avon Brewing.
Absolutely.
We would love to get together
Oh my
and
gosh,
brew.
let us know.
That'd be a lot of
Seriously.
fun. Yeah, definitely.
We have so-
Brew there, brew with my place, and kind of do some fun
We
things
have so
together.
much flexibility in what that looks like, which is really nice. Even being a bigger, sometimes they're like, this is corporate beer. It's not. We're all from here. We're transplanted here. So we have the ability to do those different types of collaborations, and we have the ability to shape what it looks like, as long as we can give a good elevator pitch to the powers to be, which doesn't take much. They trust our judgment. We're able to get those things off the ground, which is really, really nice for us.
And we have done an Ohio collaboration, unfortunately not a Cleveland one yet. We worked with Ryan Geist a couple years ago on a beer we called Mommy Beerist.
I named it.
You did, that's right. I forgot about
Named
that.
that one.
Yeah.
That was our Mother's Day beer.
Wonderful.
And then we also did the Legacy was with the Natural History
right.
Museum as
yes.
well.
So we have two examples of that, actually. I totally
Yeah.
forgot. So we have done where we partner with like local, would you call them nonprofits or companies?
We can do. I mean, we have the ability to do a whole bunch of things, but yeah, the museum is one example. The brewery's another example.
So the previous Pink Boots beer, we did in collaboration with what's called the International Women's
Air and
Aviation
Space
Air and Space Museum. We named that beer Amelia Beerhart.
I named that one too.
Yep, strawberry blonde ale.
This is great.
Those are the only
fruited blonde ale. Perfect.
And the Legacy Lager actually got its name because that was made in collaboration with the Natural History Museum for their centennial.
Yeah, so they picked that name.
So it's their legacy that's referring to.
Yes, and it's transcended. It's going to be, I think, just part of our lineup every summer at this point because it's very
it was so popular that I have to keep making it.
Yeah.
No, I enjoy it. I mean, it's like they demand it is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Does that happen a lot? I mean, I know that happens with us. I know it even happens with Dave as a home brewer. People are like, I need you to brew that beer again. Right? I was just talking to my father-in-law today. Again, we have 24 beers on tap, plus all of our cans. And he's like, listen, it's the summer. You need to have Barista Blonde out. I know. I know. We're working on it. It's going to come.
Just like that.
It's in the queue, right? So does that happen with you guys?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. You might go up and be like, oh, hey, I just released a brown ale. It's like, oh, that's nice. So when's Legacy coming out?
Yeah. We get that, like the 3 CPO, you'll get that one a lot.
Oh, yeah.
People really enjoy that. And some of our other like core lineups. And I'm like, we have
So here's something. Talking about collaborations. We got Pum King. We got King Coconut. Pum Cocoa King.
Oh, fun.
Come on, man.
That's a corporate
like
one,
it'd be
though. We'll see.
We did a variation of it. We
There
did
we go.
chai pumpkin, so there might be the ability to do some sort of variation in there.
I'm in for all I'm in for all of those things, you two. So keep us posted. We will
just let us know.
So we got into the beer scene because we love beer. We love brewing. We love the Cleveland beer scene when it first started. We love it now too as it's grown. But the whole goal for us was to do collaborations, and really up to COVID, we did a massive amount of collaboration.
That's amazing.
Anybody in the whole world that wanted to brew with us, we would brew with them and put their stuff on tap because it's fun. We bring them in and have a big party. And we've done some since then, but it really has kind of slowed down over the last couple of years. But we want to ramp that back up because that's really the core of what we value is partnering with people, connecting.
Yeah.
Beer does those things with people, having parties and fun. That's how I met Dave.
Yep.
Really?
He did the long shot competition and won.
Very
With
cool.
Sam Adams. He's a rock star if you didn't know.
Had a big party.
Huge party. Huge party. And we've been fast friends ever since. So I appreciate the opportunity that gives us to create lasting relationships. And not just in beer, but also with our customers across the board. And it draws people in and out from both places. And, high tide rise all ships. And that's what we're after at the end of the day. It's why we're out here promoting each other and talking about Southern Tier in Cleveland, everybody. Yeah. So how do you get a hold of Southern Tier while we're talking about that right now? How do we get a hold of you? Where do you find on the internet? How do they find you?
Yeah, we're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. You can also go to our website and find all of our social handles there, stbcbeer.com, and scroll down to Cleveland. You can also check out our other locations if you happen to be traveling through Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and, see what we have going on.
And Dave, how do they get a hold of us here at Blabbermalt?
The Blabbermalt Show on YouTube and Facebook, and at Blabbermalt, Instagram and Twitter.
And if you want to have any questions for us that we can send out to the Southern Tier about even maybe some ideas for a collaboration, you can get us on Gmail at
Blabbermalt@gmail.com.
Blabbermalt@gmail.com. Make sure you like and share on this video. Today will be on Facebook.
Beer names. Send us beer names.
Send us beer names.
We'll worry about designing the recipe.
That could be fun.
Beer names
Contest.
first.
Yeah.
Because we all know that Haley is a beer naming
If I could
genius.
name all the beers.
So that's what you want, right?
That's a challenge. You can't beat Haley.
Yeah. So
Can't beat her
Very
name.
fun contest.
if people are coming back to your beer and asking for the same style back again or the same brand, how or why are you making your beer relevant? What's unique about it, and how's it relevant? Like, this is a 10
question.
beer, right?
Yeah.
We're going to change your name to Clee. Since you're here now, we'll make it more local.
Or oh.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. I never thought about that. I don't know how to answer that. What makes it relevant?
Unique first, and is that relevant to where you're at today? Like, if I said this is my beer, what makes this beer, or maybe this beer for sure, right, relevant to you Why is this a 10
That's
beer?
the only one that's not relevant to
Okay.
me, to be honest.
Vanilla Scoop, that's not yours. What makes RGB the hazy we had? What was that name again?
Praise the Haze.
Praise the Haze. What makes that unique to you? So you can say with really some big gusto, that is a 10 beer. And that's a heavy question,
Man.
right? It's a heavy question.
Yeah, I don't like praising myself, so I don't really know what to say.
That's why we're here. We're on the internet. You get a chance to talk about that for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, just the trial and error that went into it. So I had end up have like my own very specific routine that I go through in order to get the particular flavor and haze semi-stability that I'm able to get out of it. It's like a regiment of exactly what days I added on. I have like 3 specific days. I always add directly into the cone, and then on the day that I free rise, and then like the day before I crash. And that seemed to be the sweet spot for me. And usually like rouse it about halfway in the middle. I don't even know if that works. It's just sort of like a ritual at this point.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
So obsessionally passionate about your product.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'll take that. Sure.
Keeping good records, and this worked, that didn't. I'll keep doing this. I won't do that. Come up with another day, another process, and then finally you're like, this is the process.
I say being exceptionally anxious until I get it right is probably the way to put it.
But you do a good job of soliciting our opinion, finding out what people want, including the tap room on what's going on, whether it's taste testing something or helping with some part of the brewing process and keeping us all involved and feeling like it's relevant in that. So we have a sense of like ownership and pride in the beer as well, which is really great when you're trying to sell it to anybody that's walking in.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I do generally try to like, survey the staff on both what they think would be good and also what they are hearing from the customers and what they're asking for, and then try to tailor whatever's coming up for that. So that makes
Smart.
it special, I suppose.
Yeah, that's smart.
Very smart. Nice job. Good to find
Good
out.
beers.
Yeah, for
Thank
sure.
you.
Want to switch on?
Yeah, let's go to the boil.
It's time for
All right, so I've been thinking about some things. I see. We were talking about how I ran into problems brewing. We live in a condo in the HOA.
What fun.
You know, you can't do that in the driveway. You know, I got the triple tier boiler or Blickman kettles out there, and you know, what are you making meth out there, Dave? No, yeah. So I ended up going to a storage condo in Avon Lake, and it has water and heat, and it's 20 by 40 feet, and I can burn propane and roll it out, and it's no problem. But I saw on Zillow, because I'm always looking at Zillow, things popping up. I saw a couple of these things pop up for like double what I paid for them. So I'm like, for that much money, I should just sell that thing. We have a new president in the HOA, and I could get away if I'd switch to electric brewing, I think. So I'm looking into, electric brew houses, and the problem is with the evaporation, if you're brewing in your garage or at home, you're going to get condensation on your walls, and the wife's not happy, and you're ruining your wall board.
Done that.
So the answer is, one, get a vent hood, cut a, mount a vent hood, cut a hole in the side of your house. Or they have these new dome lids that you can, with a little spray water that comes off, draw that moisture off and run it into a sink or a bucket. So for $300, you can kind of solve that evaporation problem. So I'm thinking about moving down that avenue. I got a couple people I want to bring on the show as guests to educate me, kind of selfishly for my own education on these things. But if I could do that, bring the brewery home in the garage, still get the cars in, if I engineer my storage space well enough, I think I could do it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So,
will that help you to brew more?
It is nicer to. The problem with brewing off-site is you go there. Well, I'm here now, so you can't just run in the house and grab a snack or something. I'm just sitting there waiting for things to mash, waiting for things to boil, cleaning. It's lonely.
No.
So
I don't know if I've ever told you that, we used to do the same process. We started in the house,
yeah,
right? I got kicked out of the house.
Yeah.
obviously.
One too many boilovers.
For legit reasons. And then we were in the garage and then got booted out of the garage.
Yeah.
Because the same thing, it just wafts right into the house.
Yeah.
And then we
Not
get
everybody
outside.
loves that.
Not everybody
mash.
loves that. No. And then you go outside, but then it's cold, right? So we did that for years before we actually moved to a little building in LaGrange.
Oh yeah.
Not fun.
No.
Same reason,
Yeah, yeah.
right? You have to drive to get there. If you get something and you're just hanging out all day while you're doing it instead of multitasking or hanging out at your house. So
Yeah, and
it
then-
kind of did put a damper on how much we did do. Maybe we'd do 2 batches or try to do something together that long day. But doing it at your house was a lot of fun. Home brewing was why we got
Yeah.
into it to begin with.
You know,
so.
and then you run into the problem. Well, I got to go check the gravity. Well, I drive over there for 3 minutes.
Yep.
Drive home. And then
we miss Dave Beers, to be honest with you. We're missing Dave Beers. He used to come in all the time with something to try and
Yeah,
sheepishly
yeah.
pull it out of his little bag and be like, I don't really want you to try it, but it's fine. And pour you a little bit. And you're like, Dave, it's fantastic. I haven't had that in such a long time. I'm jonesing.
well, I got that barley wine that's in the barrel. It's been in there 3 months. I'm going to taste it here
Nice.
this week probably.
Does that mean I get a chance to taste it too?
Maybe. We'll see. See how good it is. It'll be flat, but you can have a taste.
That's fine. That's fine. Absolutely.
So if I could do that, I need to put a sink in. I want to put a trench drain. We have a drain, but I want to cut a little trench in there and get some epoxy or that polyasparatic floor just for a better surface than crappy painted garage floor.
Well, beer does eat it up really quickly. So
Yeah.
so do some of your chemicals too.
So
It's
yeah.
worth it. Good job.
So that's what's going on in the homebrew.
So expect
me.
to have us have and some people on pretty soon to talk about
Yeah,
electric brewing.
I got to hit some people up, see what.
Yeah, I think we've
see
already
what
had that
come on.
discussion.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Looking towards now the pro brewer side,
Yes.
I'm going to say one thing about us and kind of toss it over to you to tell us what's going on in your tap room. But at Avon Brewing Company, I want to talk about today. We just upped the ante on our happy hour. So we are doing from 3 to 6 p.m., $2 off all draft beers, half price wings.
What?
Yep. Our traditional wings, our boneless wings, and our vegan wings, which is our Brussels sprouts. So half price from 3 to 6, half price on our buffalo chicken dip, and half price on our pub chip baskets. Plus, again, the $2 off all draft beers from 3 to 6 p.m., Tuesday through Friday.
Ooh.
There you go. That's my little commercial for Avon Brewing Company today. Come out and check us out. Open at 3 o'clock. Come early. Have some beers, some snacks. Stay for dinner. Have fun.
Yeah, maybe my balloons are still there, or Brandon's balloons are still there.
I took them home with me.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Cool.
Had a party. So what's going on in the world of Southern Tier?
Yeah. So we made me think of it. We do half price apps all day Tuesdays. We have a bunch of different happy hour specials, but we just started that one and it's been really successful for us, which is awesome. We kind of mentioned earlier, we have different brands underneath our umbrella company of ABV. One of them being Victory. We are doing a Summerfest down the street from us at Wild Eagle downtown on June 4th. There's going to be a banana bowl there, and we're going to be featuring pretty heavily our Juicy Monkey we just put on tap. That's 9.5%, and it tastes like a juice box. It's very, very good. We have that coming up, and then we also have we're going to have an escape room style kind of puzzle night where we have an outside company coming in, and it's going to be Alice in Wonderland theme, and it's going to be escape room style. It's going to be very cool in our cellar. That's going to be June 14th, and then we have our 2X Jam on June 24th, which will have a DJ, and we'll be featuring a lot of our 2X beers that we have on tap.
Could call it a puzzle dungeon.
I like that.
Puzzle
Yeah.
Dungeon.
Next
Man,
level.
nice job, Dave.
You can name our events. I'll name our beers.
Yes.
It'll be great.
I'm stuck back at Juice Box.
It literally tastes
Yeah.
like
I like Juice
a
Box.
juice box. It's dangerous because it's 9.5%.
A beer juice box. When's that being released?
That's already out. We have that on tap right now.
And I didn't have that.
It just got on tap probably like maybe the day or so after you guys were there.
It was on purpose.
We just tapped it. But that's
So,
one of our victory
another
beers.
trip
so
back.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
that'll
gotta check
be-
it out. It's really good.
So kind of walk us through what is your typical, you have a happy hour specials or daily specials for yourselves?
Yeah, we do same hours as you guys, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday. And then we feature additional specials on top of that. Like I said, Tuesdays half price appetizers. On Thursdays we do a $5 burger all day, and we switch up what that burger is. It's a specialty burger. Our chefs at each of the tap rooms have the ability to come up with that, and then we feature it for a month every Thursday. It's becoming really popular. Our Thursday lunches are very popular because of it, which is great. And then your standard, $1 off your beer, specials on some of the cocktails and things, because we also have our own distillery as well, which is really
That is true.
So we have a bunch of specials from 3 to 6 Monday through Friday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sounds great.
Yeah, Dave, what else do you find in the world of beer?
Well, there's some other things going on. The Schnitz Ale House is hosting their first annual Maytag Beer Fest, May 13th, 1 to 5 p.m. It's at the Ben Franklin Community Garden, which I guess is one of those places where you can get your plot and till the land and grow your own vegetables and stuff like that. But the proceeds are from the event. It's a fundraiser as well, and they're going to go to maintain the garden and keep it up, which I think is pretty cool.
That is really neat. I know Schnitz is
in
doing,
Cleveland, yeah.
doing a nice job
Yeah.
promoting themselves out and about. They just purchased the Brew Kettles production facility.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
In Middleburg?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
No. The one they were in Strongsville.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that was the old
Rivals or
Fat
something.
Heads. Yeah,
Fat
Rivals.
Heads,
That's where. Yeah, that's where Brew Kettle is now. But they moved into that other location, which was their old production there
Okay.
in the back, and they're redoing it, and they're getting ready to rock and roll from there too. So maybe we'll have Jerome on
Yeah,
to talk about some
Yeah.
schnitzel,
that'd be cool.
bring us some sausage,
Some sausage, some good German
sausage
beer.
and some beer. That'd be fun.
Also, Four Paws. I'm excited about this new brewery.
We gotta
opening
go.
in Columbia Station.
my
Yeah.
Looks-
hometown.
With the what's it? Red Wagon.
Red Wagon.
Red Wagon Farms.
So it's like a joint tap room, but they have an opening date, which is May 27th. So they're doing a cool thing. I don't know if it's going to be that weekend, but they're auctioning off the right to name one of their fermenters after your dog.
Mm-hmm.
So they're selling raffle tickets, and your dog can win. We're gonna get Nikki in there. That's
You
our
got a
dog,
cat.
yeah.
Name after a cat?
Probably. I don't know.
You can
Yeah,
just
does
say
that?
dog.
Yeah, it has 4 paws. It's fine.
It's got 4 paws. It counts.
It counts.
So that I'm interested in checking them out.
Yeah, they just had a soft opening. I had some friends that went to their soft opening, and they had a blast.
Yeah.
So they loved it. The place looked fantastic from their pictures they posted.
Yeah.
I'm excited to go. They had a bunch of beers ready to roll.
Nice.
And
Columbia Station.
Yeah.
Columbia
Looking forward to
Station.
it. Yep.
heck yeah. Another Lorain County beer place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
We're going to start a passport. It's
Yep.
going to happen.
Yep.
All right. So looking at the beer releases, we have to get on Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery News.
Yeah, they do the work for us, but
Because
it's
we've
tough
been-
work, man. I can't do it.
We've been trying to work together with them to promote them and them with us. But come on, guys. I know your work at home has put a damper on how many you've been out getting beer releases, but you did
Yeah.
find a few, Dave. What
So
were
I'm
they?
just trolling websites looking for beers. So
What'd you find for us?
Masthead has a Paradise IPA. It's a grapefruit IPA. I think they do it every year, but it's coming out soon. Terrestrial has a couple coming out. Encumbered Cucumber Belgian Wit. Sounds pretty good for the summer. Lemon Nebulous Lemon Dosed IPA. Sounds pretty good as well. Spring Theme Guava Sour Ale is another one that's also coming out.
Nice.
So
So looking at beer releases, it's not something that's specific to us, but next week is Craft Beer Week, right?
that's true.
And also the kickoff for the OCBA, Ohio Craft Brewers Association, and our collaboration beer From the Heart.
Oh, cool.
Right? So everybody gets a chance, if who's participating, to brew the beer with the ingredients that come from local providers who are donating those products to us, right?
Nice.
As we purchase them, and the money goes to charity. Well, to OCBA, and we're putting out different beers. This year is a cold IPA. You get a chance to brew the original recipe or a dark version of that, like a dark lager IPA, and we did both. So
Excellent.
Avon Brewing.
Got it all.
And brewed in Avon is our dark-hearted cold IPA, and then Medina's doing the original cold IPA. We're going to put both of those on tap starting on Tuesday. So it's not just Avon Brewing Company. If you want to go to the Ohio Craft Brewers Association website, check out who is out there doing the From the Heart Volume 3. So starting on next week.
Yeah. What hops?
Some Monday, some Tuesday. What hops?
Yeah.
A whole bunch of them. You have to
Can't
check
talk
it out.
about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Top secret.
Top secret.
I'll tell you.
Top secret.
Yeah. Cool. So we got some music events going on here. I've been looking forward to this show, the Halloween. Who's heard of Halloween? Nobody. Oh, okay. May 24th in Detroit. My buddy Lonnie introduced me to them, and he described them perfectly. If Iron Maiden and the Scorpions got together and had a dirty heavy metal baby, it would be Halloween. So they're a German band. I really like them, so we're going to drive up there to Detroit. Check them out.
Perfect.
Yeah. Coheed and Cambria, another like progressive metal band, going to be at the Agora May 10th. It's coming up. MGM Northfield Park, Striper and Kicks. 80s hair metal.
Love it.
Yeah.
And the next one is too.
Yes. Well, we've always mentioned this but it's getting closer. The Janie Lane tribute, May 20th and 21st at Temple Live. Billy Morris puts that together for his friend, late great Janie Lane. So
this is Billy's studio.
Yeah.
Right?
Audio Bay.
Audio Bay.
Yeah.
Quick question for you two, since obviously Dave did the list of music today, all the heavy metal. Me, on the other hand, when I get a chance to add some stuff in there, I go with the country route or some
That's
other
fine.
fun things.
That's good, yeah.
So what are your? I'm gonna guess Columbia Station. We're
I'm a classic country.
classic country.
Dwight Yoakam. All of that Johnny Cash. Anything.
Love
I grew
it.
up
Yeah.
on it, so it's hard to separate away from it when it becomes part of your identity as you're getting older.
Yeah.
10 or OH.
My OH now?
Yeah. Changing your name. Oh.
I mean, I like all kinds of stuff. I don't know. When I was younger, I was really into all the indie rock, like the 2000s and so on. Really big fan of like garage rock. Really like, not a lot of effects.
Yep.
Lo-fi sort of stuff.
Really fun.
Unfortunately, not super well read on the hair metal, so I can't really comment. But I love that you guys love that. That's awesome.
Love the 80s bands.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love the 80s
Does Guns N'
bands.
Roses count?
Oh,
Not
yeah.
really, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh, then yeah, okay, I like
I
them.
know them.
I just watched a funny little video when it was called, Runs and Guns. Like they're Guns N' Roses, but they're running across the stage back and forth and playing their name, just consistently running back and forth as they were singing.
Yeah.
I know. Internet's nuts. I just ruined the whole moment for you. Oh, I'm sorry.
So many nicknames now.
It's gonna.
They
pick up.
multiplied since I got
Yeah.
here.
It's going to stick.
It's gonna.
We're going to do collaboration, and you're now, I'm not going to refer to you any other way, but, what's up,
I like it.
All right, how about the grain out? It's time to grain out.
Grain out.
All right. So we're going to be up in Marblehead this weekend. We're actually probably going to go tomorrow. So I'm going to be at Twin Oast. There's like a list of 5 beers that have come out over the past few weeks, and I haven't been able to have them. So I'm going to get up there and I'll report back. See how
I
they
think
are.
you should.
Yeah. Also making a trip to Great Black Swamp Brewery in Toledo.
I've not been.
I have not been either. We had some of their beers at, I think were they at the Lorain County?
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I remember being there. I just remember trying their product.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to be up there on Friday and check them out, report back on that as well. What are we drinking next episode? Have we?
Well, I think that depends on where we're going to go. I think we have to nail down one of our 2 spots to be remote
Okay.
next week.
Okay.
So when that happens, we'll make sure we post more. We need to be better at posting more on our website where we're going to be headed in advance, so we can get more than just our family showing up.
Yeah,
so.
we should plan ahead. That's
We
a
should
good
plan
idea.
ahead.
Let me write
It's
that down.
good.
Plan ahead.
Dave mentioned,
Okay.
though, we're getting pretty close to the Brewfest Waterfront District right here. Use their glasses. If you're a home brewer, make sure you sign up for the homebrew competition.
do it.
Get yourself together, and you get a chance to, if you win top 1 or 2, you get a chance to brew with one of our local Lorain County professionals. Kind of fun. Get your beer on tap. Have a big party.
Have a big party.
Done that with you.
That's really the goal.
It's the goal.
Have a big party.
Have a big party.
So, email questions to blabbermalt@gmail.com if you have any comments, things you want us to cover, beer names.
Collaboration ideas,
Collaboration
recipes,
All of it.
all of those things. So let's do one more time for you at Southern Tier. How do they get a hold of, first, you at the tap room, and then any of your socials, deets you want to get out to everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. My email is hbets@stbcbeer.com. You can email. You can also give the tap room a call. We're there 7 days a week after 11 a.m. And then you can also check us out online. The best way to get there is stbcbeer.com. Scroll on down to Cleveland, and you can find all our social handles and everything from there.
Wonderful. 4 to 5 beers brewed in Cleveland on tap.
Yes.
Great, beautiful, wonderful facility. We had a great time. Thanks for having us. Thanks for coming
you.
out today. Dave, how do they get a hold of us one last time?
YouTube and Facebook, The Blabbermalt Show, Instagram and Twitter, @Blabbermalt.
Don't forget to, again, email us any questions you have. If we made any mistakes today, make sure you let us know. Dave, for sure, not me.
Yeah.
He reads those emails. Blabbermalt@gmail.com. Again, appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah,
It was a
thank
wonderful
you.
time.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Look forward to doing a collaboration.
Absolutely.
That would be a lot of fun.
You haven't been there yet? Get your butts to Southern Tier in Cleveland.
Yep.
Until then, everybody,